coordinator is here as well. So hopefully we can have more exchange in terms of in-depth on some of the clinical challenges that you face here, and see if I can help you understand and see what we can provide to address your challenges. So obviously in the back you see the SV600 and the TV80. So I will start with the TV80 first, which is the transport ventilator, and I'll give a quick overview about the product features. So I do have a video here I would like to show you so you can understand the whole scope, what is the possibility with this mechanical ventilator. Sorry, I'm trying to get the sound to the other side. It's this one. Just try to do it as loud as I can.
Telemetry.
So this is just our mini movie about this Mindray ventilator. So this is actually a very unique ventilator because we're the first company to have both the ventilator and the patient monitor combined. So you can see here in this, I'll just quickly let me see, I can show you. So this is actually both a ventilator and a patient monitor together in one. So that's what's very good about the design. So here you have a patient monitor. This is about 1 kilogram. So this is also, both this ventilator and this patient monitor is able to use on a pre-hospital setting. So helicopters, all the drop tests, so I can drop this patient monitor and this ventilator, nothing will happen. So this is a very, very sturdy product, but also it has very, very strong performance. Why do I mean that? It's because all of the mechanical ventilation mode, all of this mode is same as this mechanical ventilator. So basically, it will have the same performance throughout the therapy, whether you're transporting the patient or whether it's in ICU, the patients will have effortless in terms of all the technology that's it's using. So basically, all the mode settings are here, and then it's just same as any mechanical ventilator that you use. But what's very unique about this ventilator is because this is used for transport circumstances. So even before you turn on this ventilator, we actually know what is the battery life. So here, very uniquely, you see here, there's a battery life here. So it's always there for you to know that the ventilator is fully charged even before you turn on the ventilator. Okay, so that's very unique about it. So once you turn on, you can see that this ventilator actually is very fast in terms of the startup. A couple of seconds, basically they're already on the standby interfaces. Okay, and once this module is plugged in, just like you see in the video, it becomes both a patient monitor and a ventilator. So you can see now on the top, let's say it's been loaded. Now you'll be able to have the same thing, gesture control, same as that of your patient monitor. Everything that you see on this here, the gesture control is the same as that here with this kind of window. So it's 2-in-1. But also uniquely, like we see in the video, if you want to place the infusion pumps, if you're using our infusion pumps, for example, you can place it and it becomes a transportation station, right? So it's very, very useful in that perspective. So this ventilator basically can cover all of your patient populations, from adults, pediatrics, neonates, all of the patient population. It has your NIVs and it has your high flow. So it's very, very powerful, small, compact devices that you need for all of the therapies that you want. And if you don't want to have the patient monitor, just remove it. And then you have just the big screen with all of the ventilation problems. So I just use the adult now because we're using an adult circuit. And we have a
this way. Yeah.
Very similar. So, for example, if you want to change the interfaces, basically you can change as required. So, for example, here, go into the menus. I'm gonna set. So usually I would set up the ventilator for you, so you don't have to set things up. So usually, for example, I can set the waveforms, and I can set how many waveforms you want to see. So usually, typically you see, 3 waveforms. So I'm gonna turn off. So you can see it's actually very easy to use in terms of the interfaces. You have all of the parameters color coded. So you have your pressure, and then it will reflect the pressure parameters exactly. The flow in blue, and you see all the flow tidal volume, flow all in one color. And for example, if you want to change to different view of the interface, you have use 2 hands and you do a gesture. And now you have your polycyte, your intuitive lung display, right? The changes in the compliances, changes in lung, you be able to see in this interface here as well. And then also here, you change again, you go back into the overview of the waveforms.
So only 2 interfaces.
Yes, so usually you have this and you have this other one. And then also here, if you want to do a lot of these screens, for example, if you want to change to values, you have the value screens as well. So you can basically change to the value screens, and then you have from here, go into the screen. And this is a smaller screen, so it's either using the waveform screens, or you want to use the big numeric screens, or for example, if you want to turn on the value screens, so I can turn it on here, I can have all of them available. So you can actually customize how many different screens you want to see. So basically here, you have the normal waveforms, and I just turn it on, you have the big numerics, and then also all of the values here. So for example, it's all color-coded, you have all of the pressure, all of the volumes, all of the respiratory mechanics in different colors. And then you have your loops here as well. So for example, when you click here, you have both loops at the same time. It's really, really intuitive. You just press the button and then you can actually choose. And basically even here, all of the parameters that you see on the screen, you can customize it. So just press the name and you can choose basically anything and it will change into that parameter. So everything is really customizable to your requirements. So yeah. And then, for example, if you go into the PD loops, you can save your references here. So now you have your saved references. So it's relatively easy. You can save all of the values that you saved through that reference as well. And changing each to different modes is actually very easy as well. So for example, you just need to click the modes, and then it would ask you to confirm all of your settings. You confirm, and then press OK. It just goes to the other modes, and you can see it here. Now it's in the volume assist control modes. So just in case if you ask what the modes means, for example, you combine both assist control and control in the same mode. So for example, if you want to go to volume control, you just need to turn off the assist, right? You press OK, and now it becomes volume control. So just need to change assist to on, it becomes in assist control. So the same for the pressure as well. So you can basically do all of the settings. So all the settings try to make your life easier. You only have the main parameters here, but if you want to have more customized settings, you press the three dots and you have basically all of the parameters that is available to set. For example, your inspiratory time. So for example, when you change the inspiratory time, the ventilator will provide you what are the other changes. For example, the IE ratio, the inspiratory time, the pulse time, all of that. It will actually give you a prompt, and then all you need to do is confirm, and the setting will change as you change the parameters. Same thing with the flow rate, right? The higher the flow, maybe the inspiratory time pulse will increase. So all of that as well. So this is like the very basics in terms of the settings, but also we do a lot of customization. So here there's a lot of things you can see here on the side. So for example, we can actually customize under our tools. Here you have, for example, manual breath. So for example, you want to do manual hold, you just need to press it. You have the manual hold, so it's doing the inspiratory hold. So you have the plateau pressure, right? If you want to do the suctions, you press the suction button, it will give you the increase of the O2 enrichment. If you want to do the static PD loop, you go to the static PD loop and you can start to do your loops measure. So it's more of a static loop compared to the conventional that you see the loops are more dynamic. So you can choose whichever one that you want to use. And also weaning. So we have weaning, it's called the SBT. So typically, like for respiratory therapists, we need to monitor whether the patient is ready for weaning. So sometimes we use PSV to wean the patient. Sometimes we use the T-piece method, which is basically the same thing with the SBT, the T-piece method, but you don't need to disconnect the patient from the tubes. So basically you have your PSV setting here, you have your PEEP settings, how long you want to monitor your patient for, SBT time, for example, I want to do it for 1 hour, and also I can set up the tolerance rate, how long the patient can tolerate the criteria. So why do we have an SBT criteria? For example, we want to see if the patient continues breathing within the RSBI. So as you know, RSBI is basically the rapid shallow breathing index of the patient. It's basically reflect the patient's breathing rhythm. So the higher it is, okay, then the worse, right? So we want to be less shallow. So if, for example, the patient's rapid shallow index increases for more than our criteria time, 180 seconds, then the ventilator will say the patient's SBT has failed. So for example, if I want to start here, SBT, I press start. Obviously, the patient has to do spontaneous breathing, right? And it will continue to monitor the patient's situation. But for example, if the patient went apnea, for example, the patient stops breathing, and then the ventilator will detect that the patient is probably going to fail the SBT test, and it's going to go back to the previous mode. So for example here, you see that apnea, it goes back, the SBT has failed, right? Let's go back to the volume assist control mode. It gives you alarm, telling you that it has failed. And then when you come back, okay, it'll probably tell you the reason why. Under information and history, it knows the patient has failed at exactly what time. So this means that you can keep the patient safe on SBT without disconnecting the patient. Okay, any questions so far? Is that MRI compatible? This ventilator is not MRI compatible, but then you see in the video it's for the CT. So it's not MRI. Yeah. So this one is not MRI, but we will have another ventilator that's MRI compatible. Yeah.
Do you have any formula for oxygen consumption? For example, if I have an full E cylinder of oxygen,
Yes.
it will last for how long?
Yes. So actually, this is a very good question. So if we go into here, because this vent is not connected
Calculation.
with, oh, it is
Ilan yung
connected.
laman ng cylinder?
So
Cylinder.
200.
The cylinder, Levi.
Yeah, 2000 PSI.
And so the concentration.
You can say, huh?
May cylinder.
But it depends on the tidal volume given to the patient. For example, 350, it will take more time. But if you will put 700, 800, so the
depends on if I go more.
Depends on if I go to more.
There is
Turbine dito, di ba?
Mm.
Turbine for only air.
Yeah.
Kaya depend na
naka-turbine naman to.
Kaya depende nga sa level ng concentration.
Level ng concentration.
Password.
Meron yung password niya sa akin.
Don't have the service password. But anyways,
Service
how
password.
we set it up. So here, if for example, if you have the gas tank,
Meron ako yan
here
eh.
will be a
Yeah, I replied you already.
gas consumption module here. So once you click it, it will pop out the screen. It will basically set, for example, your current FiO2 level. It's already set it there, right? And the tidal volume, the flow rate is already set by you. So all you need to do is input the pressure of the cylinder that you see, the size of the cylinder, and it will calculate how many hours. It will give you an hour of how long you can use. So you don't have to do every calculation. All you do is input the cylinder size, the cylinder pressure, and then it gives you everything. So it should be here in this area.
Wala eh.
Now I need to go into the setup to bring it up. Because right now
Cylinder?
I'm using the O2 from the central line.
You can get the cylinder that down in the
Yes.
PFT.
yes.
PFT
I
machine.
need to do it, so I need to go into the setup.
The one with trolley.
But I don't
In the
have it.
PFT machine, there's with trolley. Bring that one here.
Spare one.
Yeah, spare.
You will bring the one with the machine. Kailangan niya password.
Password? You know password?
No.
So the password is actually in the manual.
I have here, I think. I will check.
So under the screen. So there's first of all, I can do the shortcut screen. I'm going to put some shortcuts here. Screen setup. I don't think this one is available. Only on that one you can view the screen.
Because it's for transport, it should be not.
I think it's this one. Oh yes. Yeah. So here, this is the screen mount. So that one is on the screen on the side. This one is here on the button. Yeah.
So where it will show us if it's locked.
So
if I press the button.
So first you press the button.
Yeah.
Now it's locked. This screen will always pop out. So it'll tell you that you cannot change your parameters. And you can press here. And then this button is for outdoor mode. So it becomes black and white. So only if you're outside, there's a lot of sun, you cannot see the values. You press this. And most of the time, inside the hospital, we want the values.
Another question. What about this base? It should be always with the.
Okay, so this is a very good question. So this is the proximal flow sensor. So compared to this device, this one requires a proximal flow sensor. The reason is because obviously a pre-hospital device, a lot of times this will, have damages and stuff like that, right? And we don't want to damage the flow sensor. So the flow sensor is very close to the patient. Unlike this one, the flow sensor is actually inside this valve. So there's a bit of separation between this one and this one. So every single patient, whether it's adult, pediatric, or neonates, required to have this proximal flow sensor, and we do have a dedicated proximal flow sensor for the neonatal patients. So this is basically just, if you use like Hamilton devices, you're probably more familiar with the proximal flow sensor design.
It's just external flow sensor like that.
Yes,
Not
yes.
inside the device.
Yeah.
But what if the patient coughed and make some secretions in there?
Yeah. So
This
obviously,
will give the false reading or something, or
any kind of like a lot of secretions or whether it's blood or anything like that, it will affect for sure. It will affect. So that's why you have to clean it. So this one is autoclavable, and you can also clean it like this. So obviously, usually this is a very sturdy device. So here you see in the inside the middle, there's actually a frame.
yes.
So that's if you don't damage it, like if you don't poke it and everything, then it's fine. But obviously, if there's a lot of secretion that blocks this, then you have to look at it. Maybe you need to clean it. So this one you can rinse it. It's fine. Just don't use a brush. You can rinse it. Obviously, like sometimes you put it in alcohol. This one is this one's autoclavable and also sterilizable. So you can immerse like in Cidex, alcohol, and things like that. Yeah. So just to get rid of the hard secretions.
But no need to disinfect after each patient's use.
Yes, of course.
But
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. But we also have a disposable one, so you don't have to use it. So depending on which one you use, this one we have here.
This is reusable.
This is a reusable one. So we also have a disposable one as well.
How many times it can be reached?
50 times.
50
times. And also here, the valve itself, the exploration valve is here. You can remove it. So here is the valve. This is also a autoclavable, sterilizable, reusable valve. So usually, per patient you will change it. But for example, if there's I know some hospitals don't have the money, the budget to do it. They put a bacteria filter. It's not the best way, but obviously, some people do it.
You can use also HMA with that one.
Yes, you
So
can
not
use.
effective.
Yeah, because this is a transport ventilator, so usually a lot of times it's not going to be for a long period of time. So people do use a possible HME with this device. So it's.
So how we will use with the oxygen? High flow.
So high flow.
Advice.
So here, for example, if you want to change the interface, here you have the O2 therapy. You just need to first remove this. And then you press start, you choose your flow rate, and then you start. Yeah, so it's really, really easy. I mean, the flow. Yeah. Right. But we do recommend to use, for example, with a single limb design. So, for example, if we're doing with this.
Line spread relay.
You mean only use the inspiratory vent
Yeah.
without the
We're doing that with the regular ventilator.
Oh, if you guys know how to do it, then yeah, it's basically just use a single limb instead of.
So we don't need the to this flow things.
You don't need to have the
Yeah,
because it's
flow.
yeah, so it's just one limb, it's fine. Just remove the extra limb. So yeah.
But for BiPAP, CPAP, other
Yeah, so BiPAP, CPAP, you do need the, for example, you're using NIV, of course. It's just to change the mode. So using NIV for adults, dual level is your BiPAP. And you can start. So that's your BiPAP.
BiPAP, yeah. High flow.
So that's your BiPAP.
There's BiPAP low flow. This
If you want to use it with a
10.
mask, you can do it with a mask.
15 now, maximum I think now 30 or 50, 20. 10
So
plus
it's the
5.
same thing, it's just using different space. Then obviously you see here under this right now, this will say NIV. So it uses NIV. Obviously you change this interface into the mask ventilation. So everything else is basically the same in terms of different patient interfaces, it's all the same. Pediatric, you can also do NIV, invasive, and also high flow. So you need to change your ventilation setup because remember when we were adults, I have all of these modes available. So everything is customizable. So when you're in pediatric, you can set your default setting as well, right? So O2 therapy is here. So you turn this on, for example, and all of that modes will be here. O2 therapy will be here. Same thing with the neonatal. You do the same setup that you want to use. And you can use it as your default setting. So it all works together.
What about the flow sensor for neonate? It's different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's smaller, and of course you'll change the circuits as well. So you just need to. It's the same thing in terms of where you place the flow sensors.
It's already provided here. Or?
I believe so.
No,
Unless you
we don't
guys-
have
You're
neonate.
gonna buy the circuits.
We don't have neonate circuit.
Okay, so if you buy it, obviously you will have the flow sensors.
Can we will request
Yeah, just need to request to buy acceptable.
disposable or reusable?
For neonates, only disposable.
Neonate for disposable.
Yeah, because usually neonates only use disposable. They don't really usually use this. So for us, we only support with disposable flow sensors.
Engineer, we can disable this flow sensor. We can use without flow sensor or no?
You cannot disable it. It will give you alarm, but it will still function. But you won't be able to see the flow rate.
Okay.
So let me.
In the SLE, you can disable the flow sensor.
You have to do the calibration or?
Yeah, there is also a procedure for calibration for that flow sensor, engineer.
Huh?
The procedure for calibration for that flow sensor.
So see, this is what happens if you don't have the So obviously the ventilator is still functioning, but it will just not show you any reading.
No reading.
So the patient's still safe even if the flow sensor is broken. Right? So you mentioned about the calibration. So
Yeah, the procedure of calibration for that one.
usually when you start the device, there is a system check. So here you do the flow sensor right away. So it's relatively easy. You just need to follow the guidance. So first it's connected to the O2 and then connect to the proximal flow sensor and block the breathing circuits. So I just need to go into continue. So it's going to check the circuits. It's going to start again, continue.
This one can be used for adults and babies. Only adults and babies.
auto.
Depending on the
Hindi, ano na eh.
the module. Let me see. I can skip. So for this one, you see it. So this one is pediatric and adult because we do have a software that allows you to do your label as well. But this one I think you guys didn't install with your units. so adults and pediatric. But you don't need the additional flow sensor. So let me try to get.
Saan pala yung additional flow sensor? Ayun. Bakit may additional? Ay, ba't sinadya nilang ilabas lang? Yung flow sensor ba?
So obviously this setup is basically identical. All the modes are here. All of the setups are here as well. And then, so if we start, basically it looks the same. The screen is much bigger. And then you still have your, your waveforms, your pulmocyte, the intuitive guidance. But there is no gesture control like this one. This one has more gesture control because it's a smaller screen. This basically you just need to press the tabs, and then you can go into different layouts. So there's more customization as well. Here as well, you go into the setups. You can actually set the screen. So this one can go up to 5 waveforms if you want. So it has opportunity to do like CO2, SpO2. So if you have one module, you'll be able to see more. So screen. And then for tools, here you have the setup of the shortcut keys. Again, like the inspiratory hold, expiratory hold. You can even have P0.1 NIF. So we have more, advanced tools for this ventilator. So here we have the short keys here, shortcut keys. You can do the inspiratory hold. If you do the inspiratory hold, you get the plateau, you get a static compliance. And then you can do the expiratory hold. We have the in-center PEEP and the PEEP-I. And you can also do the NIF. So it goes into the NIF screen. So I'm not sure if you know what NIF is. The negative inspiratory force to see if the patient is able to get off the ventilator. Expiratory hold, and then we can press.
Yeah.
So now we can see the patient's respiratory muscle strength. So with this, NIF, negative inspiratory force. And then P0.1 is the reflection of the patient's nervous system. So usually this problem is about -2 to -5. For NIF, it's -30. So the more negative it is, the better it is for the patient to get off the ventilator. So for us, like for me, example, for me to inspire more than -100, it's very, very easy. But for a patient that's intubated, at least less than -30. And then P0.1, you see that here as well. So everything will be able to see, and also it saves the time when you start the negative inspiratory breath, and then you can change all the layouts here as well. So full screen, and freeze it. Here you also have the screenshot. So basically you can screenshot everything here, and then export it from the USB. So the USB is on the bottom of the screen here. There will be USB sticks that you can put here, and then you can export all of your, whether it's trends, logs, or settings, as well as the exports of the photos all from there. Okay, any questions so far? Is there anything that you want us to learn more about? Or something that
It's almost the same with ours SB300. This
Oh yeah.
machine.
So if you've been
They are already familiar with
So
SB300.
it's very easy to use. I mean, there's not much to it, just a bigger screen, some new parameters, and then just more values basically here on the screen. You'll have your increased percentage and all of that. It's more parameters, basically.
Oh.
It's very easy to use. Not much difference. And the valves are just exactly the same too.
Sa ano na lang, kung paano gamitin yung additional.
I have a question about also batteries in this ventilator and the old one. How we can know if it's in the battery in healthy way? Because we have a problem with the other one, the portable one like this.
300?
Yeah, it's sometimes it will shut down suddenly.
Okay.
It's about the battery,
Yes.
but how we can know I can use this one to be safe with the patient? It will not turn it
Indicator
off suddenly.
100%.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happens with that regulator, but
It's about
usually,
battery things, but we don't know.
Not
yeah, so
charged.
usually
How we
the-
can? No, it will show 99%,
and
but
it just
suddenly,
shuts down, okay.
yeah, it will show suddenly low battery.
So usually that's because of battery life.
Yeah,
So,
battery life.
so I'm not sure, usually the service team, you have to service the battery, because what happens is a lot of times the battery's not plugged in, just like your iPhone, right? Like your iPhone, for example, when you don't use it, you put it there, the battery drains itself and the battery dies. Even when you charge it, it loses battery, right? So you have to be, I mean, even if you check the battery health, you can't, because you have to basically service it all the time. Always plug in, always charge it, or else you have to change the battery. So if that happens, you have to change a new battery, basically, to have a healthy battery.
But can you tell our women how can they?
So
Yeah, mostly of our ventilator, it's only putting in our stock room. You are not putting in the plug. Just keep it, and then if there is emergency, you will bring it to the ICU. That time, this battery it will drain. Once you will not plug in, this lithium-ion battery is not the same with the NiCad. This lithium-ion, once you will not charge, it will deteriorate the life of that battery.
capacity,
Not like in the NiCad battery. NiCad is even you will not charge, the life battery will not change. The life of that battery is not change. But this lithium-ion is different. You should always plug in this one.
If we are thinking about patient priority, cannot be. Suddenly it will turn it off while we are transporting.
No, in short, what even you are keeping in the store, you have to make sure that it is plugged, so that to avoid this situation. You are coming and taking the ventilator. If you are sure that it was plugged in the store, your battery is charged.
But mostly our SB300 is more than 7 years or 8 years. We need to change the battery, all of that. I have already PRA for all batteries, this one, but still not yet come.
yeah, so best to use this one, has a longer battery, it's a newer device.
Inshallah, this one not like that. The battery.
So I think that's the basic trainings.
Additional engineer about regarding this.
Product or clinically, anything that you want to know, please let me know so I know how to answer your questions outside of anything. It could be clinically how you use the device. So my question maybe to you is, do you know what IntelliCycle is? This is on a ventilator, but you can say, you know what IntelliCycle is? What? IntelliCycle. 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 INTELLICYCLE.
Entitled cycle.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Nobody knows? So this is actually a very unique function in our ventilator. So if you go into any types of settings or modes that have spontaneous breathing, for example, PSVC PAP, actually you see here the IntelliCycle is there. And it's always on. But a lot of times the clinicians don't know that it's on. So usually for other mechanical it's off. You don't have this function. So you have to change your flow trigger sensitivity, your expiratory trigger sensitivity, and the slopes, right? But minor ventilator, we have this IntelliCycle, which basically automatically change your setting based on the patient's real-time status. So for example, the trigger is not sensitive, it will automatically change its trigger sensitivity. If we see that there's flow hunger for the patient, we will change the T-slope. Or if, for example, there's pressure overshooting, we'll also change that as well. And also, if there's an active exploration, we also change the parameters for the as well. So this is very unique to Mindray, but a lot of times, like I said, people don't know about it. It's always turned on. Yeah, it's turned on, but it's actually working.
No, cannot see. Light. This one is better.
So for example here, when you do the setup, you can choose the pressure So what is the actual pressure here? For that example, this is PSI, right?
Yeah.
So we change to PSI. So PSI, and then what is the pressure? It's about 1,300. Okay. So 1,300. And then how big is the cylinder? It's a 5 liter.
E.
It's a 5 liter cylinder. This is a 5 liter cylinder, right? So they're 5 liter, right? So,
5 liters cylinder.
and then I'll just use F502, for example, 25.
So it will calculate the usage.
Yeah. So it takes a little while. So now it says the waiting time is over 10 hours. Over 10 hours. Over 10 hours. So this is over 10 hours. But that's because my FiO2 level is at 25. So for example, if I change the FiO2 level to 60, for example, it's going to have to run for a bit. So now it's 2 hours. Yeah. So it tells you how long and what is the
2 hours.
consumption. It's 1.2 hours. So it changes based on the flow rate. It changes based on the FiO2 level. So yeah, that's how.
Please say that all over again so I can record.
Okay, so the reason why that wasn't showing before was because in the system settings, obviously for the service engineers mostly, the password is VENT.123. Okay, and then you go into the display time. There's a way to see remaining display oxygen remaining time. Okay, so once that is turned on, you'll be able to see this. And then all you need to do is press this button here, and then you can input your oxygen cylinder's pressure here. So depending on the values, for example, it's using bar or PSI. For this one, it's using PSI, and you can input the actual pressure on this gauge. And then you input how large the cylinder is. Usually the cylinder will say what is the height or what is the volume. And then basically that's it.
Because they will
You just
provide
need to
the
start.
certificate.
And it's going to basically recalculate based on your current settings. So it's going to take a little bit while, but it's going to calculate based off your current settings.
Write the badge number, huh? Badge number because I will search in the system. I will send email to them to certificate.
Write down the password. Capital V, ENT,
Just wait.
123.
Now it's okay. Now you can see the calculation of the cylinder.